Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make a vermicompost bin, which is basically just a worm compost bin. I'm going to show you how to make a 3-tier compost bin, along with what all to put in it, how to put it together, and how it's beneficial for your garden. It's a pretty different video from what we normally do, but given the time that I have with what's going on in the world, I'm able to do it. I've been wanting to do it for a couple of years now, and I finally have the time, and I just wanted to share the journey with you, so let's get started. So vermicompost is worm compost. You're basically just feeding your worms all those kitchen scraps and good green organic material, and they are creating worm poop. And that worm poop is called worm castings, and it is just full of nutrients and dense in those good microorganisms that when you put it on your garden, it helps maintain your soil and keep it healthy and provides aeration and just good nutrients into your soil. They also produce worm juice, which is that liquid that comes out, which sounds pretty disgusting, but when you sprinkle it on your plants, it just provides them with a boost of nutrients. It's a great organic way to provide nutrients and maintain your soil and just keep your garden healthy. So we are going to go ahead and make this worm bin so that we can get that good compost into our garden sooner. Alright, so we have 3 bins and 1 lid. The bottom bin is going to be our bin that catches our worm juice, and the top 2 bins are going to hold our worms, their bedding, and eventually their worm castings. We're going to drill holes along the outside of this top one and in the bottom of the top one, and the same is going to go for the second one. The bottom one is not going to have holes in it. We're going to drill 1 hole actually on the side and put a plug in it so that we can easily get that worm juice and not have to unstack them all and dump it. It's just going to save us some time. So the way it works is, so we're going to fill the top one up with bedding, and we're going to put the worms in there, and then we're just going to be feeding them in this top one, and they're going to start doing their thing, start making their worm poop, and once that fills up, we are actually going to take the top one and switch it out with this next one. And so this one will be full and this top one will be empty. And since we've drilled holes in the bottom, we're gonna add additional bedding and we're gonna start feeding them up here. And they are gonna migrate through the holes in the bottom from this bottom tote, or this middle tote. They're gonna migrate up and start doing their thing in this top bin. And so that leaves this second one empty with just our really awesome worm castings that we're gonna be able to take and go put in our garden and put into our soil. And then you just repeat that process. So as this one fills up, we'll switch it out again with this one. And so that just helps, you get the compost faster. It takes out just the problems that you have with just one bin. You also get that drainage into the bottom bin so that the water and the liquid doesn't build up in here and drown our worms. So it's just a good way to do it. Alright, so I've got my drill and I've got my drill bit. Your drill bit doesn't need to be super big, maybe around medium size, not too small either. You just want it to be big enough for the worms to crawl through. You don't want it to be too big so they're not all like falling through. Just big enough for them to crawl through and to provide aeration and drainage. I'm going to be drilling a bunch of holes throughout the bottom and then 2 rows of holes along the top edge all the way around to provide aeration. So I'm going to start drilling. Alright, now that that's done, this is what it should look like. You should have your rows of holes for aeration, and then holes in the bottom for drainage and for the wormies to migrate up through. Now we are going to take those two out, and we're going to drill a hole to put our plug in so that we can have easy access to our worm juice. Alright, so this is our last step. We've drilled the holes in our other two buckets, and now we're going to drill our drainage hole in this bucket, and this is where we're going to put our plug, and this is always going to be the bottom bucket. It's the bucket that's going to collect the drainage from the other two. It's our worm juice bucket, and so let's drill the hole. Alright, we got our hole drilled and we got our plug in, and this is what it should look like when you're done. Now we're going to start getting our bedding ready so that we can get our worms in. Alright, so bedding, you can use cardboard egg cartons, these brown paper towels, cardboard, shredded newspaper, shredded paper, just not glossy paper, or any cardboard with glossy stuff on it. And you're just going to shred it up to a fine amount, and then we will wet it, get it moist, and the consistency, you don't want to squeeze it and it be dripping with water. You want it to be like a wrung out sponge consistency. So we are going to finish getting this bedding ready. Alright, we got our bedding ready. See, it's not the texture of a wrung out sponge. We're going to add this in there. We're going to add some leaves and about maybe 4 scoops of dirt with this. Also some eggshells. Eggshells, we're going to crumble those up. They help to keep the acidity down in the bucket. So we're going to add all that in here. So we got our worms. I actually got mine in the mail. These are red wigglers. I got them from Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. I ordered them online and it took about 2 days to get here. It's actually a bag of 1,000 worms. I've read in my research that 1 pound of worms to 1 pound of feed per week. So 1,000 of these little red wigglers is about 1 pound. So we'll feed them once a week. And they need to, once we put them in here, they need to get acclimated to their new home. So we're going to wait about a week to feed them so that they can get used to the home and start composting their bedding, and then we'll start feeding them. Also, they need to stay in the temperatures between 55 degrees and 75 degrees. You don't want to freeze them, you don't want to fry them, and they need to stay in a dark or shaded area. So we are going to go put these in their new home. Alright guys, so that was how you make a worm composting bin. I know that was a pretty different video than what we usually do, but it was something I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I just wanted to share it with y'all, and hopefully it'll help you. If you're new here, we usually do hiking and camping related videos. Maybe you'll like that, so if you do, go check them out. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
I got worms.
I beg your pardon?
That's what we're gonna call it. I got worms. We're gonna specialize in selling worm farms. You know, like ant farms. What's the matter?